Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. It is Cowboy, and it is, what time is it? 8:31 a.m. EST. Got started about a minute late. I was making some coffee. You know how that goes. So let's go ahead, jump right into it. We have Bitcoin at what appears to be a big decision point. And I know I talked about this yesterday, but what I'm seeing here is Bitcoin either struggling to stay up or getting ready to break upwards. Now, usually when I see any kind of asset on kind of a long-term move down, and long-term, midterm, I mean, it's all relative, right? But Bitcoin's been heading down since January. We're now in March. Okay. So, we're looking at a couple of months here. This big long move down, right? Now, anytime I see Bitcoin kind of fighting like this after a move down, I think to myself, it might continue down. Technically, even though I wouldn't call this exact drawing a bear flag, but realistically, up close, this one does look pretty much like a bear flag. Now, this is, again, like I said the other day, kind of a newbie pattern. Like a lot of new traders will take a look at flags, and not to say there's anything wrong with flags. They do play out. But Bitcoin's also notorious for faking flags because they know, at least I'm assuming, they know that new people look for flags. So it doesn't mean the price will not break up from here. But we do see, whoa, what happened to my screen? There we go. We do see here that 78 seems to be holding so far. So if we do get a break, a breakdown, we have a couple of local structure points to look at, with 78 being the key structure at this time, going back to February. Okay, so you have this couple of different bounces here that are very, very easy to see, but I'll go ahead and point them out for you, 1 and 2. All right. Now we do have a couple of other local ones to look at. And price, of course, could come down and bounce off either of those as well. And those are at 81 and 79,700 respectively. So those are some areas that Bitcoin can break at, excuse me, not break, but, bounce at and then head back up. Now, of course, there's always that chance that this is all, even though it looks like a bear flag, it may very well be a bear flag. It might be time for Bitcoin to head up. Bitcoin is a wily beast and is known for punishing the shorts, right? So a lot of people will go short and Bitcoin will break above that to grab their liquidations. In fact, what I want to do is take a brief look at those liquidations. Let's see here. We're going to go over to the kingfisher.io. This is a great website. There is a link in the description for, you can use this for free, by the way. And there's a referral link in the description. If you do want to get a subscription to this, I really do recommend that. There are so many tools in here besides just the liquidity. All right. But we're going to go ahead and just use liquidity today. And let's see here. Bitcoin. All right. We got the Bitcoin market. And it wants to advertise to me. Okay, that's fine. Bitcoin. Why does it continue to advertise? Okay, we'll just refresh. So there is right now a little bit of liquidation down around the 83,500 area, 83.5, 83.6. So we'll mark that on the chart just so we know that there's a high probability price could go there. And that's pretty close to where price is right now. So 83.5 is... It's like right below price. I mean, this is a close, this is like a near term look. So let's go ahead and jump these off here. And if we're to look up close, right, if we're going to try to maybe do some scalps or something like that, it's the end of the week, probably not a ton of news coming out. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But 83.5 is right here. So if you're, looking at a lower time frame trade, which is completely reasonable, there's a lot of liquidations. And the reason there are a lot of liquidations there is because a lot of people have gone long, right? So a lot of trades right now on the low time frame kind of look like probably this, where their stop loss is down here below some of this structure, and then they're looking to take profit right there. So a lot of people are probably doing some day trades or swing trades, and their liquidations are down here below local structure. Pretty typical. And so what'll happen is that with those liquidations, and this is really important to understand, this is actually like, if you understand what I'm telling you right now, you'll make a fair amount of money trading Bitcoin as long as you have a good, algo, a good trading method. And when you have these liquidations where that blue line is, we're going to code this line yellow so we don't, just make it visible. When the algos shift bearish, there is a very high probability the price will head down to those liquidations. And the reason is that the exchanges and the big money make a lot of money when price touches those liquidations, because what you're doing is you're liquidating a bunch of trades. You had a bunch of trades that there's the liquidation point there, and above that liquidation point are a lot of stop losses. So those stop losses will act as literally sells. They'll actually sell into the chart and cascade the price down into the liquidations, right? So whoever didn't use a stop loss gets liquidated. And then when price goes down low, people are going to take advantage of that. And I can tell you right now, as we've been talking, you can see on the 3-hour chart, this red candle right here, price is being pushed towards those liquidations. If I were to go to a lower time frame, you'd be able to see it, like say on the 5-minute, it would be pretty clear, which is where we are now. You can see how price right now is being pushed toward, it's probably going to go there right now. So I guess somebody's watching this show, somebody important's watching this show. I'm joking, half joking here, but there's a good chance this will just head down there right now. So when I first started talking, price was all the way up to like right here, right? And price started to head down. Sure, this happened, actually, it was when the show started at 6:31, price was literally right there. So had I been, trying to trade this and maybe scalping, I could have entered a short, probably a little, not quite at the top of that candle, because my algos probably wouldn't have caught it in time. But, I could put a stop loss, even a generous stop loss up here, and still be looking at a 2-to-1 right here. So obviously I didn't do that. Let me take a look at what the algos actually say. Yeah, no, I could have caught that pretty early. I could have done that, and again, I was getting ready for the show, and you can only do so many things. So there you go, though. That's just how trading can be done right there. And I guarantee you this is probably going to go straight down to it. Not likely it's going to stop right here. So even somebody like has the right setup could severely scalp this even right now and make money, enter now and catch this little move down. So interesting stuff right there. This is how trading is done. And the Kingfisher.io is the key. You had that level right there. If I were to refresh this dotted line would be a little bit closer to price. And price almost always moves towards these liquidation points. And if we zoom out, you'll notice there's a fair amount of liquidation in the $60,000 range. Now, it doesn't mean the price will go there, but if everything gets rather bearish, those are good targets, right? And all that means is that people are long and their liquidations are deep. So, this doesn't mean the price will go there, but there are circumstances that could have that happen. So let me go ahead and take a look at the time. All right, we got a little bit more time. Let me take a brief look at the indices. I don't see any questions. Remember, if you're in the audience, you can ask questions. Like if you have a chart you want to see, if you have a crypto you like, whatever it is, then feel free to ask. You got Solana headed down as well. Good chance Solana is going to head down very shortly, probably to about 120 to test 120. 120 for Solana is a historical, support. So we could see a 120 Solana. It's already at 125, but when you're doing these quick trades, that's a big difference. That's about 4%. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, because crypto is going to be affected by the NASDAQ in the short term. And you'll notice that the chart for the NASDAQ looks very similar to Bitcoin. If I were to overlay Bitcoin on the NASDAQ, you will notice that they are similar. So let's go BTC USD and add that. And we'll give, whoa, what just happened? BTC USD. Add that on a new price scale. There we are. Okay, so it's on there. It should be on there. Yep. So there you have it. You can see how Bitcoin, I added it twice. Slick. Let's delete one of them. So you can see how Bitcoin is kind of following the NASDAQ there. And by the way, it's on its own price scale over here. So the congruency can be matched up here. So very, very similar right there. You see how that is? Now, the NASDAQ tends to lead a little bit, not always. Sometimes Bitcoin leads the NASDAQ. But if you want to know what's going to happen with Bitcoin, take a look at the NASDAQ, because in this particular case, you can see the NASDAQ started heading down at 515 and Bitcoin started heading down at 520. So it's like in some cases, the NASDAQ will tell you what's going on ahead of time, but not always. Either way, they are correlated. So whatever's happening there, often happens in Bitcoin. We got some comments. Let's see what we got. Mick, good morning. How's the euro looking, Cowboy? Haven't seen it in a few days. Mick, you're over in the private live labs, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And it is time to head over to the private live labs. So everybody go ahead and go to algofactory.tech. There's links in the description. And what we'll do is we're going to teach you how to build your own trading method. The way that I know where price is going to go with all that stuff at the bottom of the screen, that's all very simple. It seems complex. It is not. I have taught people of all skill levels, of all education levels, how to do this. And anytime you can predict the future in the markets, you can extract money from the markets. And for those of you who are savvy at coding, we can help you be on the path to have this trade for you while you are not at the computer. This is not necessary. You do not have to code. You do not have to turn these into bots. You can simply trade and trade the old school way. And you can trade with very few hours a week, very little time. That is possible for you, whether you have this computer coded or not. And most people, even though they could code it, they tend not to. They like to trade these things live. They like to do it usually on a higher time frame. Most people have jobs. They don't have the time to sit in front of the computer all day, and we're definitely able to help all of you. So algofactory.tech, come on over, learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro. Never forget.
Join us or die.